Good morning. This morning we're going to be talking some about multi-step equations. Now, we did some work with this on Friday and Monday, but I wanted to take some time to talk about it together. So you see before you a little worksheet out with some multi-step equations. And the question is, what are we trying to do with these? Well, with a lot of equations, we're trying to solve for the variable, which is going to be these little letters, the X, the Y, Z, so on and so forth. Basically, we're going to want to get one letter on one side and one number on the other side. So, how do we get there? Well, like a lot of things, we have to put things together and then break them down. So when I say put things together, I mean this X right here, this X right here, they need to go together. So how do I do this? Well, you remember that if you have an equation on one side equal and then another part of the equation on the other side, in order to get the 4x or the 3x over to the other side, we need to subtract something. This 3 is positive. We want it to come over here to the 4. And so I'm going to subtract, excuse my penmanship, this is the first time I'm using this tool. We might have to erase because this is getting kind of big, but that's okay. Okay. In order to get this positive 3 off of this side, I need to subtract it. 3x minus 3x is going to equal 0. And whatever I do on this side, I will do on this side as well. So that will be 4x minus 3x, which gives us 1x. Or, as we know from our equations, whenever you have 1 in front of a variable, you just need to write the variable. We know there's 1x because we can see it. There's 1x right there. Okay, so I put like together. I put x with x, and I have x plus 16 equals negative 12. But we're not done yet because I want to get the x by itself. So that means I need to get this 16 out of here. So the same thing as I did above here. In order to get rid of this 16, I have a positive 16. I need to subtract 16 to give us 0 on this side. So minus 16. And on the same, and then whatever I do on this side, I need to do on this side. Negative 16. X equals. Now this is a little bit tricky because I have a negative 12 and I have a negative 16. Well, whenever you have two negative numbers, you add them together. Normally when I subtract a number, for instance, if I came over here and I said 6 minus 4, I would take the 4 away, and that would give me 12. 2, excuse me. I'm so sorry. That would give me a 2. If it's a little bit early in the morning, like it is for me right now, sometimes you might make a little silly mistake. That's why we want to go back and check our equations when we're finished with them. But we'll talk about that more later. Yeah, 6 minus 4 equals 2. But if I had a negative 6 and a negative 4 together, well, they're both negative. It's like if you had a hole. If you have a hole, which is negative, and you put a positive into it, well, you fill in the hole. But if you have a hole and you take even more out of the hole gets deeper. So -6 is a number that's in the hole. It is below 0. If I take -4 out of it, I am making the hole even deeper. So I'm adding to the -6. And then that would give us -10. So coming over here with -12 and -16, I have -12, which is a number below 0. So it's already in the hole. And then I'm putting with it a -16, which is another number below 0. And so I'm digging my hole deeper. And so, as strange as it may seem, I need to add these two negative numbers together. So looking at it quickly, I'm going to see that 2 plus 6 is going to equal 8. 1 plus 2, 1 is going to equal 2, and it's negative. So x equals -28. So we started with 4x plus 16 equals 3x minus 12. We knew that we wanted to get x on one side all by itself. So the only way to do that was going to be to break it down and get like things together. So I needed to take the 3 from this side and put it on this side. So I subtracted 3x, which gave me 0 3x's on this side. And I know that 4x minus 3x is going to be 1x, or x. That left me with x plus 16 equals -12. Then I wanted to get rid of this 16 on this side, so I would have the x all by itself. And so what I did is I subtracted 16 from this side, which gave me -12 plus -16. It's making that hole deeper. And that gave me x equals -28. So let me erase this real quick. These annotation tools are kind of fun, by the way, even if I'm still kind of messy with them. I have one more thing to show you. I hope you all enjoyed your remote learning day yesterday. It was a little bit of a change of pace, but very good, I think. All right. So down here towards the bottom of the worksheet, we have the equations with even more steps. So let's take a look at this one right here. The first thing that's important to note is that whenever you see parentheses and a number outside of it, of course you are multiplying the number in the parentheses by the one outside of the parentheses. So this equation is going to be a little bit harder. What do I mean by this? Well, what I mean is that when you see the 2 outside, I'm multiplying everything in the parentheses by the 2. What is 2 times 3x? It's going to be 6x. What is 2 times -3? -6. It's going to equal, same thing on this side. What's 6 times 4? Let me see, 6 times 2 equals 12. And so 24x. One of my issues with math is that I sometimes skip steps, and you can hear it as I'm explaining it to you. Because when I say 6 times 4. Then I start talking about 12. Well, I know that 6 times 2 equals 12. And I know 2 times 12 equals 24. So 6 times 4 equals 24. But I jump a step in my head sometimes. Okay, and 6 times 2 equals 12. And there we go. And now I have an equation that looks an awful lot like the one that we just solved at the top here. Scroll up here, and my numbers are going to move with me. But this equation happens to look an awful lot like this equation and this equation. I'm not worrying about the parentheses anymore there. And then I would solve it in the same way. I would want to get the x by itself. So I'm going to do, which is easier to do, subtract 24x from one side or 6x from the other. I think taking a smaller number away is going to be easier. So minus 6x minus 6x. Okay, going to be negative 6 equals, what is 24 minus 6? Well, I know that 24 minus 20, the 24 minus 4 equals 20. You hear me doing it again. and I know that 4 plus 2 equals 6. So 18x plus 12. Now we're not done yet because we want this x all by itself. We're doing it step by step. So the next thing I want to do is I want to get this 12 away from this x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 12 from this side, which subtracts 12 from this side. And hey, guess what? That brings us back to our concept with two negatives put together. If you have two negative numbers put together, you have to add them. Oh, excuse me, what has happened to my screen? What's happened to my numbers? Oh boy. There we go. Technical difficulties this morning. Okay, so I have negative 6 equals 18x plus 12 minus the 12 on either side. Negative 6 plus negative 12 equals negative 18. Negative 18. 6 plus 12 equals 18. And negative numbers are the same with that. So I have negative 18 equals 18x. Now, again, I want to get the x all by itself. So how would I do that? Well, the way this is written, 18x is the same way as saying 18 times x. And if you want, what's the opposite of timesing or multiplying? It's dividing. So I'm going to divide 18. Divide 18. What is negative 18 divided by 18? Well, any number divided by itself is 1. But if you divide a negative number by a positive number, it's still going to be negative. And so it's going to be negative 1 equals x. So that's a little bit more complex of a problem. You see that these ones down here all have the parentheses. So what I want you to do today with this worksheet is I want you to do your best. This worksheet is all about me finding out more about what you're comfortable with math. And so I'm not grading to see if you get all of the answers correctly. This is going to be a decent amount of work, and I just want you to do your absolute best so I can see how comfortable you are with these multi-step equations. So for today's assignment, I want you to go onto Canvas, find this multi-step equations worksheet. Go ahead and write the problems down on a piece of paper. Take a picture of it, and then send me your answers. So that's the work for today. I feel like you have enough time to get it done today, but if you're finding that it's taking some time, please feel free to email me and ask if you can have an extra day. So that's what I have for you today. If you have any questions, as always, please email me. And I look forward to hearing from you and seeing what you come up with. Thank you, guys.